My name is Emily. I'm 26 and live on my own. 3 weeks ago, I made the drive back to my hometown of Springfield for my mom's early holiday gathering. After the meal wrapped up, she rose with a festive gift bag and began distributing presents to everyone seated around the table, except me. I glanced up and asked quietly, "Is there something for me?" Without missing a beat, she replied, "You should be thankful you're even allowed at this table." My Uncle Greg jumped in with a smirk. "Yeah, be grateful we still bother to remember your name." Laughter rippled through the room like a wave. I managed a small, "Well, that's good to hear," but deep inside, something went completely still. That single moment marked the end of my endless efforts to prove I belonged. Before we dive deeper, pause for a second. Tell me, where are you tuning in from right now? Maybe a cozy kitchen after a long day, a quiet car in a parking lot, your break room during a night shift, or finally a space that's just yours. Wherever you are, know that Echoes of Real Life is right here with you as we step into the next chapter. When I returned to Denver that evening, I dropped my keys on the counter, tossed the leftover pumpkin dessert straight into the trash, and sank down onto my kitchen floor. A furious part of me wanted to unleash everything in the family group chat, but I already knew their predictable response. "You're overreacting." It was just a tease. Be thankful we even included you. So I held back. Instead, I reached out to Sophie, my closest friend. She called me back in under 30 seconds. I poured out every detail, the "be thankful you can sit here," the jab about still knowing my name. She listened in silence for a moment, then spoke firmly. "Emily, that wasn't calm teasing. That was cruel. They don't value you at all." Hearing those words from someone else shattered something heavy inside my chest. While we were still talking, I pulled up my banking app. There it all was: Mom's yoga studio pass and gym fees I never used myself. Streaming subscriptions I barely watched. The Family Prime account. Concert tickets. Food deliveries. Ride shares. Countless "just put it on your card, I'll pay you back" promises that vanished into thin air. I scrolled back months, then years. The truth landed hard. I wasn't just the odd one out at family dinners. I was the silent, invisible bankroll fueling their picture-perfect family image. Sophie said softly, "What if you simply stopped? What if you let them experience what life feels like without your support?" The thought terrified me. But that weekend, I sat at my small kitchen table with my laptop and a fresh notebook, and I started listing everything. Mom's fitness classes, Dad's entertainment subscriptions, my sister's event tickets and gas money, every automatic payment linked to my name and their convenience. One by one, I began canceling. Click, cancel membership. Click, turn off auto-renew. Click, remove payment method. With each confirmation email that arrived, I felt a little less like something they owned. The first real storm arrived just days after I cut it all off. I was focused at my desk when my phone exploded with notifications. The family group chat erupted. Mom sent a lengthy message about how some people forget who brought them into this world. Canceling her gym membership? That was an attack on her well-being. Yoga was the only thing keeping her grounded. Did I want to push her to the breaking point? Dad piled on with his classic lines about sacrifice, responsibility, and family loyalty. "You wouldn't have that nice job in Denver without everything we did for you." Every time finances came up, he'd remind me my entire life was an unpaid debt. My sisters chimed in with eye-roll emojis and sarcastic remarks. "Choosing streaming services over your own mother? Classic." Ironically, I'd canceled that too, and they used it far more than I ever did. "You've really changed. You used to be so kind." Crying emojis, broken hearts, the usual guilt script. My chest tightened. I muted the chat, flipped my phone over, and stared at my computer screen, breathing. 10 minutes later, Sophie sent screenshots. "Are you seeing this?" My younger sister had posted a stark black square with white text. "Some people cut off their own blood over money. Never forget who was there before the money started rolling in." Mom replied, so heartbreaking but true, "Love you, sweetheart." Cousins piled on, family first. Money can't buy real loyalty. They had flipped the story. I was now the heartless villain, and they the wounded victims. No one mentioned the countless Thanksgivings. No one acknowledged the years of just put it on your card. I'd spent so long terrified of being labeled ungrateful that I'd given endlessly, paid quietly, stayed silent. The first time I said no, they hurled the word at me anyway. That night, I didn't break down. Instead, I opened my laptop and pulled 5 years of transactions onto the screen. Fitness passes, subscriptions, tickets, rides, emergency fixes, forgot my wallet moments. I organized it all into a clear spreadsheet, dates, amounts, who truly benefited. The total kept rising until I had to lean back in my chair. This wasn't generosity. It was a long, one-sided pattern. I drafted one email to my parents and sisters. I thanked them for the support they'd given me as a child. Then I pasted the full total and wrote, "If you're still going to call me ungrateful for stopping, please look at these numbers and reflect on who has actually been taking care of whom all these years." My fingers trembled as I hit send. They didn't challenge the figures. They just called me cold for finally adding them up. If this were your family, what would you choose? Comment 1 if you'd stay quiet, keep paying, and wait for them to change. Comment 2 if you document the truth, draw clear lines, and let the facts speak. 2 weeks after that painful dinner, trouble arrived right at my apartment door. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was half watching a show when the buzzers sounded. My dad's name appeared on my phone. I ignored it. Then Mom called. The buzzer rang again, longer, more insistent. I pressed the intercom just enough to hear her voice echo up. "Emily, we know you're home. Let us in." A neighbor must have buzzed them through, because soon I saw them through the peephole. Mom clutched a bright red gift bag. Dad held 2 smaller ones. She knocked gently. "Emily, sweetheart, open the door. We brought you something special. We just want to talk before the holidays." Her tone carried sweetly down the hallway. I stayed behind the locked door, hand on the knob, and didn't move. "I don't want to talk," I said clearly. "Please leave." The warmth vanished. "We drove 4 hours to get here," she snapped. "The least you can do is open up and face your own parents." Dad stepped in. "We're not having this conversation through a door. Open it now. You don't get to humiliate me and then show up with gift bags like that erases everything," I answered. "You need to go." The knocking grew harder. Mom's voice rose. "Do you even hear yourself? That city has changed you completely. Our family is breaking, and you don't care at all." My phone buzzed. "My sister, they're at your door. Just open it. Don't make Mom lose it." I typed back. They showed up without warning. "That's on them." Through the door, Mom tried again. "We brought presents, Emily. We didn't forget you this time. We're trying here. This is what you wanted, isn't it? Attention." "I don't want gifts," I said firmly. I wanted basic respect at that table. Silence. Then the snap. "Oh my God, are you still hung up on that?" It was a joke. Normal people can handle a joke. Dad added, "You're taking one little comment and using it to punish everyone." In that instant, I knew nothing worth having waited on the other side of that door. I texted Mom, "You have 10 minutes to leave, or I'm calling building security." Out loud, I repeated, "You need to leave. I'm serious." They kept knocking while I stood firm, heart racing, whispering to myself, "You're allowed to say no." Finally, the pounding stopped. Their voices drifted away down the corridor. That night, a neighbor messaged through the building system, checking if I was okay and noting the loud argument outside my door. I saved every detail. The moment I refused to open up, their drama shifted from a family visit to documented evidence. After the gift bag standoff, the chaos moved from my phone to my hallway. Voicemails from Mom mentioned her rising blood pressure and doctor visits. Dad's messages leaned on duty and family obligation. "You're tearing this family apart. You owe us a real conversation. We raised you." When I stopped responding, they started using local numbers. I hoped they'd tire out. Instead, they escalated. One evening, I turned the corner on my floor and found them waiting. Mom, Dad, and Uncle Greg. "There she is," Mom announced loudly. "Do you feel good treating your parents this way?" I set my bag down, keys ready. "You're not supposed to be here. I've asked you to stop coming. Leave now." "We're not going anywhere," Dad said. "We drove all this way before the holidays." Mom launched into a speech about rescuing the family. about me hiding away in my little city apartment, about how ungrateful I'd become. From the corner of my eye, I noticed my older neighbor in her doorway, phone raised, quietly recording. Dad stepped closer until my back pressed against my own door. "Here's what's happening," he declared. "You're coming home with us for the holidays." My pulse hammered, but my voice held steady. "No, I'm not going anywhere with you. I've told you to leave. This is harassment." Mom slammed her palm against the door beside my head. The sharp sound made me jump. "We gave you everything," she yelled. "You owe us respect. You owe us your time." Uncle Greg saw me flinch and grinned. He reached out, grabbed my shoulder, and pushed, just enough to shift me. Something inside me turned ice cold. I knocked his hand away hard. "Do not touch me again," I said, loud enough for the entire hallway to hear. Then I pulled out my phone. "This is Emily in 4B, I told the front desk. "My family is here uninvited again. I've asked them to leave. One of them put hands on me. I need security and the police right now." Minutes later, a security guard arrived with 2 officers. My neighbor showed them her footage. I explained what happened. My parents called it a misunderstanding. The officers called it harassment. "You need to leave the property immediately," one said. "If this happens again, she can pursue a restraining order." He took Uncle Greg's ID and issued a citation. That night, building management slipped a formal notice under my door, confirming the incident and barring them from returning without authorization. For the first time, it wasn't just my word against theirs. Their actions finally carried real consequences, for them, not me. In the weeks following the holidays, the quiet felt almost surreal. No messages, no calls, no passive-aggressive posts with my name buried in the subtext. At first, my body stayed tense, braced for the next explosion. Then slowly, it began to feel like breathing room. Through distant relatives and small-town gossip, word filtered back. Mom's doctor had warned her about stress levels. Without my card on file, she'd had to scale back luxuries and start learning basic budgeting. Dad spent hours on hold with companies, resetting passwords himself instead of saying, "Ask Emily," and handing over bills. Uncle Greg lost his funny, harmless reputation. The hallway video had spread. It's tough to play the family guy when strangers watched you grab your niece. My sisters posted fewer concert tickets and more work shifts, side hustles, and savings goals. When I stepped away, everyone finally started carrying their own load. Once the adrenaline wore off, I crashed hard. With no fresh drama to distract me, buried memories rose up. The jokes that cut deep, the bills I swallowed with a forced smile, the years I thought keeping everyone happy was my sole responsibility. I scheduled sessions with a therapist and joined an online support community. Words I'd avoided for so long finally clicked into place. Manipulation, financial exploitation, emotional abuse. They didn't erase the past, but they stopped me from blaming myself for it. Months later, Mom sent a gentler email. I responded once, short, calm, boundaries firm and non-negotiable. I don't know what the future holds for us, but this chapter, this one is mine. I stopped being thankful just to have a chair at the table. I started being truly grateful to stand strong on my own. If any part of this story hit close to home, you're not alone. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories of real strength and quiet victories.